Bjørn from Physio Innovation. Today's video is about the back. So I wanted to talk about the lower back. I wanted to talk about the mid part here. I'll come to the neck in another video. So some issues we see in bike fitting is people having back pain. It's a big part. Together with the knee is where you have the most pain issues, pain-related issues concerning bike fitting, cycling overall. And you would say when you look at the general population, you have obviously a lot of back pain, and you can't really go through a whole life without having ever experienced back pain. You can have many different reasons for it to occur. I'll try to cover some in this video. However, it's a really big topic, and I won't be able to cover everything. But one thing that we see sometimes in cycling, when people have a too short position, they often tend to crop like this, so they go with a round back, and this could put strain, unnecessary strain on the lower back, also the thoracic lumbar part, which is just above the lower back, basically where the rib cage is, with the rib cage ends. Another issue we see sometimes is with a too long position. Back in the old days, this was quite popular. So being really quite far stretched out like I am just right now, and this again will put quite some stress and pulling and workload on your lower back. So just here. Another issue which can be seen quite often is the saddle actually. So I'm not talking about the directly on the back, but I'm talking about the pressure from your pelvis on your saddle. So let's say you had a saddle where you're not really comfortable. What you're going to do often, or what I see in the clinic, is people try to slide and sit on the more soft tissue here in the back part of your pelvis. So when I do like this here, well, what happens with my back? Tends to round, yeah? You see this? Round back. So looking at the back, you always need to take into consideration the saddle pressure, or the saddle comfort, I would say. So have a look at your saddle and try to feel after what are you doing on your saddle. Can you be on the front part easily, or do you tend to do this because it's just not comfortable on the front part of your pelvis? This could be one of the reasons. Another reason, as I said just before, too long position. So you're out flying here. This puts a lot of strain, and when you become fatigued, you'll tend to do this. And what happens here, I'll cover this in my next video with the neck, is that you need to extend even more your neck like this. Right? So being comfortable with your raise or your position concerning your back, having a well-balanced pressure with your hands here touching the hoods, and your saddle pressure, your weight on the saddle actually that would be the best option for you as a cyclist, road cyclist I'm talking here. So you don't need to be too afraid of having pressure here actually on your hoods, because actually when you have pressure here, you are weight bearing. You could sort of say you're weight bearing in a like I am right now here, in a 45-degree angle. So I put some of my weight, I take it off with my upper part here of my back, so my arms, my shoulders, etc., and this actually relieves my lower back. So if I were to have a too high position with the front part, with the front part here of my bike, we just put it up here. Well, what happens? I extend, so I lift up like this. And what happens here? Well, I actually get more weight bearing obviously gravity, etc. on my lower back. So I got more muscle workload actually to be done when I'm up here compared to being lower down. Sounds strange, doesn't it? But it's physics. Here I feel my weight being up here. So I'm actually relieving my lower back, and it does sound strange, but it's fairly logic and quite rational. So again, it's always a compromise to where and how you are riding also, obviously, because you got other issues, having too much weight bearing here compared to here. Here it's more for free on your saddle. Here you got some workload, you got some muscle tonus that will need to be activated here. Actually muscle tonus and muscle contraction, static, that will counter a little bit you could say your whole respiratory and your circulatory system. So I would have a demand, a workload of demand from my muscles up here, which won't really get me forward faster. All right. I want some oxygen down here, obviously, and I want to have this without too much of a demand of my upper body. So this is why sometimes I would actually recommend cyclists also doing some endurance work for the upper body. Could be swimming, it could be some cross-country skiing also. Those type of efforts is really not that bad, and we know from history that swimming, for example, some cyclists have been quite successful in implementing this type of training. So again, we're talking about the back, so obviously we also want to talk about the work of your diaphragm, so the whole respiratory system here. What can happen if I have a too round back, you'll see it here, then I tend to crump in like this, and this means that my diaphragm, when I really try to work it, well, it kind of feels a little bit compromised here. So having a back which is more straight, like this, feel much more comfortable in breathing. Much more comfortable, got more space, I don't feel it's compressing anywhere compared to this one, right? Here, I feel my thigh here, and well, it's really not quite comfortable to breathe with and try and engage with my diaphragm here. So I tend to try and get cyclists into a more neutral back position here, and this also depends a lot on your hip mobility, on your pressure on the saddle, the comfort you have of being here in the mid front part of your pelvis, and that can be somewhat uncomfortable for many cyclists. So therefore you need to have a good look at the type of saddle you are choosing. Again, it's a big subject, and I'll try to maybe do another follow-up video on this part. For now, hope you enjoyed it, and you're more than welcome to ask questions if you have any. So let's see if I can do some more videos, maybe working up towards the neck. If you got any questions concerning breathing, you're more than welcome also to ask me below. So have a good weekend, good ride, and enjoy the last part before winter settles. See you.